How you going? The 21st of January, Tuesday the 21st. Going to be a warm one today, so we're up pretty early going. Boys here at 6, so we're just, probably go to lunchtime. They're sort of talking high 30s again today. Sort of mid 30s yesterday, and then it's going to cool down again tomorrow. So, Brendan's spraying burrs, Tony's out. We're just going to, he's pulling some fencing down out with the other farms. We're just going to, a bit of stuff that needs renewing, so we'll pull it down and clean it up, and then we'll get to and get some new fencing up. I'm just chasing water for a bit. We'll finish over on the corn over here on our dairy block today, or this morning, sorry. So I'm just here, well, I've just come over to move the pump, but I've actually just come over. I had some big truck tyres that actually, some second-hand ones that we got given that fit on the mother bin. So I'm just actually bringing them over to the new place and putting them in the shed here out of the road. They were in the big shed at home, so yeah, just taking up room. So haven't really showed you much of what the go is here. So there's just a little shed. We've brought we've got the grain feeder here, and the two of the fronts, the windrow front, the corn front. There is a pretty reasonable house here. I'm just waiting on a guy to come and give us a quote. We're going to cut all these trees down around the back of the house here, so just to get them off the house and sort of clean this area up a bit. But yeah, the sort of trees are in amongst in the gutters and in the roof and that. The other side's not too bad. There's a little bit of an orchard and that around the other side. It's quite a nice little area. So we need to, once we get this, get a bit of lawn back down in here. There's an old outhouse sort of laundry building thing in there that we'll pull down as well. And all this sort of veranda-y bit, I don't know what you'd call it. It's all rotten and buggered, so we'll get rid of it as well. The house has been re-stumped, and inside of it's been redone. We probably need to do something with the bathroom. It probably wants renowing, and then we'll just see whether we rent it out or what. Got a little, not a bad little hay shed, so we've just got the chaser bin in it. Scrapman is coming on Wednesday, so a couple of days time. So we do have. There's quite a lot of scrap out the back there, and some out there, and a bit just here and that. So once we can get it cleared up, we'll get in and have a bit better of a tidy up. We have had a bit of a go, so but I'm going to go over and bring the recycle pump, take it back to home. I think the motor on it is about buggered. It's very noisy in the bottom end, so I'll just get it home and drop the oil out of it and just see, and I don't know whether we can rebuild it, or I'll have to get a new one. We'll try and track a new one down try and get this irrigation season finished, and then we might be able to rebuild the other one, or the one that's on it, at some point in time. I do need a second motor to run that we want to set up, so we've got two pumps. One thing we have inherited, gimme, oi. We've got a couple of shed kitties. Hey mate. And he's hungry. So kids have been coming over and feeding them. So it's alright. There's another one, there's two brothers here, two ginger cats. We actually come over and put some collars on them last night. They're very smoochy, so we're actually thinking we might, once we get set up a bit better, we might try and move them over to home, so they can hang about. We do have a cat, but he's an inside cat. But yeah, they're not real big. They'll be 12 months old, these guys. But oh, here's the other one. Hello. So anyway, it's good to have them. Don't mind having them around. They sort of keep the mice down, and especially when there's no one in the house. But yeah, the kids have been coming over and giving them a feed. But they are very friendly. So it'd be a shame just to leave them here to their own devices. So anyway, we'll get these tyres in. I'll get over and get this motor and get it home. Just having a look here. I've got actually mucked up with the water ordering, so I had to order water for another 12 hours. last night, so I've got 2 bays here that are, the first 2 bays are still running, so I think what's going to happen is they're probably finished, and yeah, the water's not going to go off for another hour and a half yet. So anyway, that's all right. So it'll just run out, and we've got plenty of room in the storage dam here. But yeah, just sort of come down and see where it's up to. Yeah, it might not be quite running out the end, but there's a fair chance it probably is too. If the motor was all right on that pump, I would have probably just shut it off and just pumped them today. But I was a little bit worried too with how hot it's going to get today. Just having them been a bit dry, we'll start and flood the stuff at home tomorrow morning. And the pivot's still going. I've sent it around again on the corn circle, so it'll finish tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll get it back going on the loose and try and get it finished. And then yeah, there's no point walking to the end, so we're not far from the end, and we've still got water here, so that's all right. That's not the end of the world. But yeah, by the time like another week, we'll probably have another draft of lambs to go. Just looking at them yesterday when I moved them, yeah, they're doing pretty well actually, which is nice. So, yeah, anyway, lovely morning, but it's going to get hot. Next job. So I've just given the little tractor a wash. We've got swallows camping on the cross cables up in the roof there and shitting all over everything. So yeah, just gave it a wash. Truck's got to go over the Roadworthy tomorrow, but for some reason we got no power. She bat flattery and like proper flat. So yeah, won't even nothing at all, which has never happened before. So I don't know what's going on. I'll yeah, check the isolator switch here under the bonnet, but I'm gonna have to pull all the batteries. It's got 4 batteries in it under here, so I'm gonna have to pull all them out and charge them up. So it's a bit of a pain in the backside, because yeah, it's covered in dust. It's sort of got parked in the shed since harvest, and I didn't get the bonnet up. Yeah, it's got parked here after harvest and never really yeah, we haven't done anything with it since, so it's been sitting here for a couple of months. So, but generally it still starts. So anyway, we'll have a play and get the bonnet over. I can't even think where the isolator switch is. There it is, right there looking at me, and it's on. So yeah, don't know. And then it's a bit like the header, it's near impossible to probably jump start it. One thing I've sort of discovered with these new vehicles is they've got like a variable voltage alternator. So they're bloody hopeless to try and jump start anything with. So anyway, we'll have a muck around, try and get this plate off, and we've got no power in this shed, so and of course we've got no air, so we can't tow it out of the shed. Yeah, I'll come up with something. Cover off, so we've got 4 of the best here. We've got, I'm not too sure what's been going on here, but probably a good thing we did pull this cover off. Been something, a mouse or a rat or a critter of some description's been chewing that. I'm not actually sure what that goes to. Anyway, yeah, it might be for the flashing lights up the top there perhaps. Anyway, so we've just got the 2 clamps here to hold them in. We'll get all the leads off, and then yeah, we'll just charge them one by one. It's about all we can do. And hopefully that gets it going. So stick you there for a minute. Shout out to ratchet spinners. Well, the bloke that invented them anyway. Still haven't worked out what the go is with the batteries in the header right either. Yeah, that's on the to-do list. Actually, probably those batteries will, I would assume, they would still be under warranty. So if there's a crook one, we could, I'd like to think we could get it replaced. Yeah, anyway. This isn't actually going to be as painful as what I thought it might have been. So generally, sometimes you get those terminals and you can't get them off. And so, anyway, I had to put a new. It's been the week for it. Had to put a new battery in Sarah's car yesterday, and the original battery, which is 4-year-old, which is about probably what it's due to be changed. And the battery had no handles on it, so you couldn't actually lift the bloody thing out. So I had to put a pair of vice grips on the terminals to get hold of it to be able to lift it out. So yeah, we've had some sort of critter went camping in here at some point in time. So anyway, we'll get them out and get them on the charger. So come out the back, I had a phone call from a neighbour with some lambs out, and we've got a boundary fence up the back here, one of the blocks out the back. It's about buggered. Yeah, they don't run stock. Or they run a few cattle, I think, but yeah, so the merino ewes don't generally worry them. They don't sort of push on it too much. But these trade lambs that we bought, there's a few holes in the fences, so they've decided to go on an adventure. So we've already got one lot back, and then I was heading for home and got a phone call, and here's another half a dozen. So just getting them back to where they need to be, little buggers. But anyway, that's all right. They'll be looking for a drink by the time they get there, but yeah, hopefully it might teach them just to sit down. And I don't know why, just typical lambs, they got plenty of feed where they were. So, but yeah, typical lambs and a buggered fence, and yeah, find a hole and let's go on an adventure. So I'll get them tomorrow. I'll once it's cooled down, it's up probably 33 or 4 degrees now. In the morning, I'll yeah, have a round up and get them back up to that paddock where we cut the hay. There's a good pick up there, and the fences are a lot better up there. They won't be able to go on any adventures. Yeah, because it's a pain in the ass when they're up on the canal bank, and yeah, didn't want to go everywhere bar where they should have. And yeah, anyway, we're getting there. So the ewes that were in here, I've about got this paddock clogged out actually, so we need to get another load of lime to put on here, and then yeah, if we get it spread and we get a shower of rain, well, we can yeah, work it in then is the plan. we've made a start here, so I'm gonna pull up some sponge because it's getting pretty warm even in the shade. So I had young Molly out here give me a hand, so yeah, try and get her a bit keen on it, which she seems to be. She's pretty good with the hands and that sort of stuff, so she's interested. That's a start. So I've just dropped that down, as you can see. I've got a bit of time lapse there, so yeah, but we'll probably have to cut those tubes off. I can't actually remember how we got them to go on there when we originally did it, but anyway, I'd say it might be it won't be a fun job to get it back together, but anyway, it's not going to take long to get them out. That's probably the easy bit. So we've just got to effectively strip all the hose and that out of it. The wiring loom runs inside here, inside the channel, and the plan is it's actually cracked it. Oh, it's not too bad there, but on the other side, it started to crack that bottom beam out. So I'm going to cut to lift the bins out, cut the front off it. So I'll give myself, I don't know, we'll come forward 100 mil just so we can get it clean and tidy, and then cut it basically right through there and take the front away altogether. We'll get rid of all this and probably cut it back to here somewhere. It doesn't need to be so long, and then what we'll do is we're going to reclaim this. I'll reclaim this front axle, and I'm going to get some. I've sort of been thinking about it a bit. I'll get some 10 mil. I'll get a sheet of 10 mil plate, and I'll effectively box that in as a triangle, just to give it more strength. Essentially like what we've got there, but supersize it. And then yeah, we'll just do away with all this. They're just too tall. So we'll get back down here, and effectively we'll just have a rack and pinion steering is what I'm thinking. So there's a bit to do, but that's why we're starting in January, because these things don't get done overnight. But if I can get a clean run at it, it won't be too bad. We've sort of got all the farm stuff, apart from irrigating, but yeah, most of the farm stuff the boys can take care of, and I can hopefully just concentrate in here. So that's the plan. We had to put a new tyre on one side because Josh, it went into wall. It was inevitable. So there is another new tyre to go on the other side. So when we get it off, we can go and get it fixed. You can see here it's got a split there, so it's only a matter of time before it's going to get. Same thing will happen. This auger, I'll just see how we're going for time. I would like to make it a bit longer. I actually thought about getting a bigger one made, but we need to fix all this up. It's leaks badly when you load, and so yeah, just give it a good general tidy up, but get this back. I don't know whether the camera shows the angle and what it's done, but you can see there it's cracked it through there and cracked it through the bottom there. Didn't do much good, the poor darling, but anyway, it is what it is now. So yeah, I still haven't actually. Might get on the phone now and find out where these bits and pieces are for the rollers and how they've got on with them. Hoard Bagshaw aren't the greatest company to deal with from experience. They just seem to be very slow in their parts department, and replies and that sort of stuff. So be a bit better, Hoard Bagshaw. Anyway, so we've got the pins. I've got some pins from bushes from last time we did the tines. So this will be the fourth time we've rebushed the air seeder tines. So they're the new bushes. So they're a fancy sort of thing that's threaded in each end there that go in the parallelogram, and then there's a bag of nylon bushes too. So I just haven't got enough to rebush it. So I just need more. But this is the priority. We could, worst case scenario, we could use the seeder the way it is, but I'd really like to get it fixed up if we can, and get it back to new, and fix a few oil leaks on rams and that sort of stuff as well while we're going. got the 4 batteries here out of the truck, so they are charging up quite quickly. So I think what's happened is the key got turned off too far, so the accessories have been on, because it wouldn't even light the dash lights up. It was flat. So that generally means it's if you get a crook battery or something, it doesn't generally go flat like that. You still will get a bit of power, but all 4 of those batteries were dead flat, so they've been drained somehow. So I think that's when I turned the key when I first went to start it, and I'm like, oh, that's back a bit far. So I don't know what's happened there, but anyway, hopefully I'll charge up and we can get that unhooked and give it a wash this arvo, and yeah, it's right to go for in the morning for the Roadworthy. Morning. So next day, we knocked off yesterday afternoon. I had to go to town, do a couple of things, but I think we topped out at about 41 degrees, so it was hot. No, Jessica. So the cool changes come through, so it's quite, yeah, we're back to normality a bit this morning. Batteries, so I'm trying to, hopefully we can get this truck to go. I have had these on the charger yesterday. Might just grab a multimeter and just check them before we start. Problem I've got is if we can't, I don't know whether I'm going to get 4 batteries the same locally if it doesn't start. So just see how we go. We might be able to get them in there and jumpstart them, but they've all come up. They have all come up to charge. Well, I think they have yesterday, but I just noticed one there that it's been on all night. It's not on. We haven't got a little green light, so not sure what's going on. Anyway, we'll grab this multimeter and just have a quick look. And yeah, it's about a bit after 6. So the guys are just back to normal starting times rather than starting early. So, but yeah, it looks like Monday. We're Wednesday today. Look like Monday it's going to be bloody hot again. So it's summer. It's what we've got to deal with. So we've got power, just not enough power. I've got the ute on it. I've had to get a bit creative and wedge a mash hammer and a breaker bar in there to get the revs up the ute a bit. I might actually go and grab the little jumper pack as well. I've only got one set of jumper leads here, so it will turn over. It just hasn't got enough to fire, so I'll give it, I don't know, 10 minutes with the ute, 5 minutes with the ute on it, and I'll go and grab this jumper pack, and hopefully that might be enough to get it to swing over. Yeah, anyway, I might even take it for a drive around the block if and when I get it going. So, wind's back. It's gonna be a pretty windy day, I think. 40 k's again. So anyway, we'll see how we go. Fingers crossed we can get this thing going. Don't know whether that'll make much difference, but anyway, it'll start a ute or a car, so it might help. Windy with our brake pin. Of course, these new utes, you can't turn the lights off on them. Come on, baby, we're alive. First one win for the morning. We'll get this packed up. The truck's all washed up, so I'll fix the tube wiring up. I was able to just cut it and shorten it. I cut the tube bit out and put a new bit in. I've just got the battery charger on it while I'm here, while it's sitting here, and yeah. Hopefully when we go to fire it up again before we go, it goes. And I've just got it's a little bit low on oil for some reason, so I've just got to top it up. Just looking at the backs of these belts, these belts were new pre-harvest. Yeah, they're a bit rough for whatever reason, but anyway, we'll just keep an eye on them. Yeah, so hopefully passes with flying colours. Water's going to start on the corn now, so I'm just going to go down, get it set up, and the pivot will stop. Tony's he got a flat tire on the backhoe. We're just pulling some fences down. I think I mentioned to renew out the back farm, so he's been out there. He just had a flat tire on the backhoe late yesterday afternoon, so he took it to town and, well, it's not late yesterday afternoon, yesterday lunchtime. He took it to town to get fixed, and then I got him to get some filters and that for the pivots. So the corn pivot will finish this morning, and then I'll get him to service it, or service irrigators, and then we can get it going again on the loose, and then get that side finished, because the lambs there will probably want shifting. They'll have about heating out on that side by sort of middle of next week, I'd reckon. So anyway, we'll get this water set up, and then by the time we do that, it'll be time to head to Finley to get this truck hopefully past the Roadworthy. Back at home, all passed with flying colours, so it was good. We had a bit of a drama. They've got a machine, I think they call it the shaker machine or something, and what you do, you drive up onto it, you do an axle at a time, and it shakes and checks the suspension, and then you drive a little bit further, and you've got a brake, and it checks the brakes and that. Well, we got I had the diff lock in by accident, which I gave the cabin a blowout and a clean before I left, and didn't realise I'd flicked it on, and got over there when we did the front axle, and then went to do the first axle at the back, and old mate goes, "Oh, have you got your diff lock on?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have." And anyway, I backed back, and I got beached. So then we had to get a forklift. They have it at a truck depot they set up there, and one of the local trucking companies they set up out the back, and then they use their pit in the workshop, and we actually had to get a forklift to pull us back up off the machine because we were marooned. So, but anyway, it took me longer to drive over and drive back than what it did to get done, so I've just back under the tipper. And so next thing we'll probably put the division in it for sowing. That's all. It's all coming around pretty quick. Anyway, so I'm gonna have a bit of lunch, and then we'll get to and change the oils in those pivot motors and get them going again. Tony got some filters for me. This water should be running on the corn, so just a few of those jobs to fill the afternoon in. I do have a bit of commuter work to do, but I'm just having trouble getting there to do it, unfortunately, at the moment. So anyway, that's all right. Changing oil. Had a bit of a spillage. I've ended up with it on my boot. Anyway, so I'm going to do the filter while we're going. So we've been doing oil changes at 250 and then filters at 500. I've been out and dropped the oil out of the corner, the middle, on the pivot on the corn here, and then so while it's draining, I'll service this one, and I'll go and get this going, and then I'll go out and change that as well. I think I've mentioned it before, I generally write the hours on the new filter just with a texter, so we do have a book now with all the stuff in it back at the shed. So once you service something, each implement or motor or whatever tractor's got a page or a couple of pages, so whenever we do something there's a bit of a record there and dates and that sort of stuff. So if Tony or Brendan does something, well, they know when it was serviced last if I'm not here, or it could be 12 months between lights of the header, where you sort of generally do a big service at the start of each season, and you get to the next year and you sort of can't remember what you've done. So that's sort of part of the reason why we do that. It just lives in the cupboard there. So we'll change the filter here and put some oil back in him, and I did grab the jets off that irrigator. I probably should have went to Eagle Eye while I was in Finley and got a couple more jets, but anyway, next trip. I'll go and screw them on and get them going, and then we can get some water cracking. The first bay on the floods, it's a bit slow for whatever reason. I did have water still running into the dam here, so I've just blocked it off, but it's not very good videoing with it because the wind is blowing like a bastard. So so apologies about the noise, but there's not much I can do about it. I've gone to hiding in the filming in the ute just because of the wind. It'd be, I don't know, I think we're supposed to be gusting to 40 kilometres an hour, so, and it would be that. Yeah, so we're going here. So we've got a bit over probably a third of the 2/3 of the half to do, and then I'll set 30 mil to finish it, and then I'll send it back around the other way. Give it 60 mil in total. We walked at this sort of chunk the other day from the middle, and went back onto the corn. So yeah, I'll go up now and finish servicing that the pivot motor out in the middle, so it'll be ready to go tomorrow night or Friday morning probably. We'll fire it back up again. So it's yeah, fuel. We're working on. I am still keeping an eye on the probes, but we're working on 36 hours roughly in between waterings. So yeah, and that's probably, if you work it out, it's probably similar to what we're doing with the flood. I think we'll be applying sort of 0.5 or 0.6 of meg, which is obviously 50-60 mil per watering, and we're doing that every seven days. So yeah, they're sort of getting both the flood and the irrigation, the pivots getting a similar amount of water. So yeah, and again, I don't know. There's probably another 4 weeks of watering on the flood yet. Just looking at the cobs. So padding's quite rough. Anyway, we'll get up here and get this motor serviced. Nearly on last light. Yeah, days are getting shorter actually. 6 o'clock in the morning. It's still reasonably dark, and then yeah, it's sort of 8:30 now, and it's the sun's nearly disappeared. So just setting the timers up. We are running a bit slower for some reason. I think probably because usually we've got the recycle pump going as well. I'm just adding that bit of extra water in it, so I've only just shut the first bay off now at 8:30, and usually it's probably 5 o'clock. So anyway, that's all right. We can play with it at the back end if we need to. I have to try and, I think I did mention it on the last video, we've got some nasty noises coming out of that. Oh, not nasty, but it seems very rumbly, that little diesel motor in the sort of big end in the main crank. I don't know why, but it has done a fair bit of work. So I've got it back there at the workshop. I meant to do it today, but just ran out of time. Just make a few phone calls and see if we can actually get a new one or price a new one up. Yeah, I would imagine it'll be 2.5 or 3 grand, or it might even be dearer than that. And then whether we try and get that one rebuilt, or it's still going, it's not burning oil, it's not blowing smoke or anything like that. It just seems to be really noisy in the bottom end for whatever reason, and when you crank it you sort of notice it. Yeah, I was sort of noticing that, one, it is noisy, but two, when you crank it over it feels a bit rumbly. So don't know. Anyway, I'll make a few calls in the morning, but I may just change the oil in it and get it back down on the recycle dam here, because it is pretty full anyway. And yeah, obviously we'll get a bit of runoff. Got to lift back into town with Tony, the Savo, and we brought the big tractor and the baler back, so it's all done. It tractors through a bloody Irrigation on the way home 3 or 4 times. I just kept pressing cancel, so I don't know what that is. I'll have to follow that up in the morning as well, which is not ideal after it's just been serviced. So yeah, and anyway, it has cooled down, but as you can tell by the noise, it's still pretty windy. So I'm not too sure what the wind's supposed to do tomorrow. It would be really good if it buggered off. So yeah, anyway, yeah, that's it for another one. I'll get this set up and knock off. Yeah, all right, thanks again. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.